Vinny.
Before we go into the game, obviously the FA Commission report is out. What's your take on the introduction of a possible league that would be made up of B teams?
I'm very much in favour of it. It was something that I've spent 15 years of my life working in youth development and looked at various ways of what was going to be the best in order to develop young players. Obviously when they're 8s through to 16 there's a different stage of the development, but I think the big hole in this country is that 17s to 21s, and I always felt that that was in terms of the clubs that I worked at, that would be the best way in order to develop them. So it may seem a little bit radical, but I thought it was a great idea, and obviously it needs organising to ensure that everything suits all clubs and parties, but certainly for the development of players and British coaches, I think it's vital, because what you'll get is you'll get the chance for young British coaches to work in a competitive environment as well. So there's an awful lot of money being spent on youth development in this country, both in terms of coaching and young players, and I think it's a great way forward in order to see that and hopefully then progress.
For yourself, there's been reports this week that you're close to signing a new contract. Can you clarify the situation there?
Yeah, I'm not sure where it's come from. I've obviously been in discussion with the club, and there's a framework of a deal that's in place, but it's not something really. I've always said it'll be the end of the season. I want nothing to detract from what has been a great season for ourselves with the players, and hopefully we'll resolve that over the course of the off-season.
You're also now being linked with Adam Lallana. Is he a target, and what contact has there been with Southampton?
Well, not again. I've seen something on that yesterday, and I'm sure you can respect that I would never ever mention about another player at another club. So it's purely, obviously, of course, speculation and something that, as I said, Adam's a terrific young talent and a young player, but for us, there's always speculation about top young players.
Whether you win the title or not, what do you need to add, though, to ensure that you're in this kind of position or better next time around?
Well, I think firstly I'd want to congratulate my players on this season before we talk about anything else. I think that we've had a remarkable season. The players have put Liverpool on the world map again in terms of what we're looking to achieve here as a club. The performance level has been exceptional over the course of the season, and come Sunday we'll fight right to the very end. If we win the game and we end up not winning the title, I think to finish second to the richest team in the history of sport really shows the measure and the progress that we've made here. And I think also what is poignant is that you guys are talking about us for the title. The media, the papers. It's a huge compliment here to what we're doing, that we're even considered for it. So I think for us it's really only the beginning. We've had 2 years here and we've been progressing. This year we've made a step. I see and I hear about other teams that will improve. I think we'll improve dramatically as well next season. We've got young players that have gone through an experience now that will only bode them well for the future. Players like Steven Gerrard, 33 years of age, this is his first sample of this type of running. He will be better next year also. So for us, it's only the beginning, and we're really looking forward to finishing this season strongly. Tick the box at the weekend, be a tough game, and then be prepared and really excited about next season.
Could you foresee another twist, especially after Sam Allardyce said that he personally would like to see Steven Gerrard become a title winner?
Yeah, it's certainly not over. First and foremost, we can only concentrate on our job. Our job is to win the game. I think Alan will come as well, and he'll want to finish his season strong. So we know that it's a tough game, but the combination of us at home and our supporters has been fantastic, and for us to look to get 16 wins out of 19 cometh the weekend would pencil in a great return for us at home. And for them, West Ham got some really talented players. If you can go to Tottenham and win 3-0, you can certainly go to Manchester City and win. And especially you got guys like Big Andy that up front with the quality that he has. They got a real good defensive record. 14 odd clean sheets, I think. So it shows that they're a very, very difficult team to play against. So, but our focus is on ourselves, and if we do that job, then I'll be happy.
Been any chat with Andy Stewart, Joe Cole, about them doing you a favour?
There hasn't, no.
That's a shame.
You must be hopeful though, Brendan, that set pieces seems to be the key to West Ham's game, that perhaps Big Andy can help you out.
Listen, I think the expectancy, without being disrespectful to anyone, I think the expectancy is that Man City will win. But it certainly won't be easy for them, I'm sure, because you go into that last game, no matter what the result is you need, certainly, as I said, they'll want to win the game. But West Ham will want to finish on a high note as well, and they know they have the players that can cause problems. So, but for us, we can only take care of ourselves, and like I said, tick our box to win the game, finish off hopefully on 84 points, and finish off however it ends up, a remarkable season for us.
We all saw the devastation among the players after the Palace result. How's the spirit been since that this week?
It's been excellent. As you can imagine, I think you've seen the emotion of the supporters after the game, and that was pretty much the same in the dressing room afterwards. We know the areas that we need to improve. We get 99 goals. It's fairly clear and simple for me. We need to improve defensively away from home. Or in terms of conceding goals at home, we are in the top 5 ranked in the league. 17 goals we've conceded, but away from home we've conceded 32. And it's not even so much structure; it's about concentration for me. We conceded 32 goals away from home. We've gone to Old Trafford, not conceded. Gone to Tottenham, haven't conceded. Went to Southampton, which is a difficult place, didn't concede. But in other games, like we had the other night when we're 3-0 up, we've conceded 3 goals. Cardiff 3 goals, even though we've won. Games where even I've looked at when we've won, we haven't defended well enough away from home. So that will be the focus on us continuing with the philosophy that has got us into this position, but tightening up in areas away from home, and that'll be key for us next season.
Brendan, when you talk about the emotion of the fans, has it been an emotionally draining fortnight for the squad itself, with the results and the events of the last couple of weeks?
No, I think that the game the other night was obviously difficult. I've watched the game 3 times since, and I'm still in shock when I see us ending up drawing the game 3-3. To have that much control and good concentration in the game, good organisation in the game, to then let that go with 12 minutes to go, it shouldn't happen. And that was probably the biggest disappointment. What I've had great pride in is the players, how they have actually dealt with the pressure. We've had it put on us for a few months now. Can we deal with the pressure? Can we cope with the pressure? I think it's clear that we can. You look at the level of our football that we've played. There's been no nerves in relation to that. Some of the unfortunate incidents we've had where Stephen slipped in the Chelsea game, that can happen to anyone. But actually the level of our football shows that we can cope with it. But the disappointment, of course, is there. But we won't dwell on it. You can't think about what may have happened or what could have happened, and you can only really focus on what has happened and look forward to making better and improving.
And when you talk about the 99 goals this season, one just short of a century, that's an achievement, and you talk about how you congratulated your players, how proud you are of those. Is that the message you've been giving back to them, to realise what they've actually done this season?
I think it is.
This last game.
Yeah, it's whatever the result at the weekend, however it pans out. We've had a really successful season. We set the objectives, at the beginning that was to reach the top 4. I think everyone at the beginning of the season thought that was a huge ask for us. So as I said, it's a real compliment that you guys can talk about us winning the title. And that, as I said, that you have to give an incredible amount of credit to our players who have consistently gone out and performed well. And as I said, will have gained from this experience in these last few months. And as I said, it's my job to reinforce that and to ensure that we're ready for the fight again next season.
Brendan, one of the many positives this season has been the form at Anfield. It's some terrific performances, and you spoke quite recently, a couple of months back, about ownership of Anfield and the play buying into that. But even since then, the form and the results in the main have been ramped up even further. So how do you go about achieving that?
I think it's confidence. It's given the players the confidence. I think they've settled into our way of working. You know, the ideas have proven to be successful, and I think it's that combination of the team. I said when I came in, I spoke to a number of players when I came in, and it was talked to me about the atmosphere at Anfield. And I've always said it's the players that create it. You know, you have to perform. You know, the supporters are there to support you, but they have to support what they're seeing. And for us, we've really attacked the games with real aggression, with real intent. And I think the supporters have recognised the honesty and the endeavour of this team. And that combination of their brilliant support, along with our quality and confidence, has allowed us to make Anfield a really difficult place again. So we have to continue with that journey, and as I said, that will continue.
Because there appears to be an element of the Shankly, the Paisley, the Liverpool of the 60s, 70s, 80s, the successful sides at Anfield were relentless in their home matches, and you see that an awful lot now. It's a really powerful tool to have, isn't it?
It is. I think, as I said, your home form is critical, really, if you're going to compete. And that's the. Everyone stand up. It's one where the form at home, as I said, has that relentless attitude and mentality to go in to every game looking to win. So, as I said, you have to give a big credit to the supporters as well, because they've bought into what we've been doing. They've encouraged the players. And Anfield's a wonderful place for us to play. We really enjoy it. And these last couple of months, seeing the flags, seeing the supporters, you know, I think football as a whole can take great pride that a football club and its supporters can come together as one like that to demonstrate that passion for football. And this is a wonderful city, a real unique city in the world of football, and they've shown that quality to get behind us, and the players have responded to that.
The defensive shortcomings that you spoke about, particularly in the away games, and you put a lot of it down to concentration or more of a lack of it. How do you solve that? Because these are all professional footballers that have been doing it.
Excuse me, we've become a wee bit lazy in here. Some people's season's already over.
The defensive shortcomings and the problems that have caused, particularly in the away games, down to concentration levels. But these are experienced players, aren't they? So how do you get them to reinforce what you want from them concentration-wise? Because it's maybe not as easy a skill set as it sounds.
No, it's not. And that's, if you can't keep your concentration long enough, you'll lose your place. It's as simple as that. Or you lose your place in the squad. It's that simple. You know, as I said, we've played in big games this season, you know, and showed real solidity defensively. As I said, we went away to Cardiff, we scored 6 goals, but we conceded 3. Went away to Stoke, we scored 5, but we conceded 3. Palace 3, Hull 3. Yep, there's an element of quality from the opponent. But I look at and analyse the games intensely, and a big part of it is concentration. You know, organisation, concentrating on your job. You know, the game the other night, if it was 0-0, we wouldn't have conceded the first goal that we did. But because it's 3-0, you can think that the game is over. And sometimes you can't give people what they don't have. That's also important to understand. So, but our work is continual. You know, we'll really focus on that part of our game over the course of the pre-season, going into next season, and that'll be an area that will, like I said when I came in here, I knew what the goals tally was. We had to improve our goals. So we went from 47 in a season to now 99 and whatever it finishes at the weekend. I will do the same with the defence as well.
Brendan, Foreman from UTV BBC weekend. Congratulations on a great season. What's the reaction been from back home? Have you had an increasing demand on people looking for tickets for the last few weeks in particular?
Well, as always, the Irish like to get over and watch the games. And no, I think I've received many letters, hundreds of letters and cards from back home wishing us well, and no matter where we finished, you know, congratulate us on a great season. I know back home there's a huge Liverpool support, you know, both in the north and the south, and as I said, I always receive the well wishes with, as I said, with great gratification, because as I said, it means a lot to me coming from back home, and as I said, it's very important.
When you did take over, there were a lot of sceptical fans, maybe thought it was a step too far for you. Was that motivation for you, or was that something you just took in your stride?
Probably more took it in my stride. I think you probably have to respect that I was a young coach that was coming into one of the most iconic clubs in the world, with no great playing history at all, and only a short managerial career. I had obviously a long coaching career, but I've always had the self-belief and self-confidence in how I work, and you need to have that. And obviously I knew that coming in here, I worked closely and spoke a lot with the owners, that I would be given time, and that would allow me then to put in place my ideas. So over the course of these couple of seasons, we've progressed, and as I said, in the years to come, that will be the aim, to continue on this journey that we're on. And as I said, we're only really at the beginning of that. So in football management, you need to have that self-confidence, self-belief in what you're doing, and that's always something that I've always had.
Anything from the PA? Brendan, the team used to the game, obviously we know Jordan's coming back in. Are there any new injury concerns?
No, we've got everyone training, yeah, apart from Jose. He's obviously coming along very well. He won't be available for the game at the weekend, but he's stepped up his rehabilitation, and he's out on the field working with the sort of guys at the tail end of that sort of rehab. So his condition looks very good, and he looks like he's going to be ready and fighting fit for pre-season, which will be a great addition for us.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.